What's going on, guys? Welcome back to CarX Street. Today we're going to be going through my entire build here on my S14. Now, I recently posted a video here on the channel, my first experience building this car, but within that video I wasn't quite able to finish up the entire tune and setup. Now that the car's all done, I want to take you guys through the entire thing in case you guys are looking for some tuning tips or want to try the car out for yourself. Now, we are going to be going through everything here, guys. We're going to be starting off here in the styling shop. We're going to go through all the cosmetics, then we're going to move over to the tuning shop, go through all the upgrades and tuning values, then we'll hop into some driving clips so you guys can see how the car drives. So starting off, we have our body parts. Now, we did run the CBW kit on this one, guys, so that is our starting point. Our hood, though, we went over to Missile. Front bumper is going to stay CBW, rear bumper as well. Headlights, though, are going to be custom. Taillights are going to be stock. Mirrors are going to be stock as well. Skirts are going to be Missile. Trunk is going to be stock. Spoiler is going to be ProFlow. Exhaust is going to be Missile. Roll cage is none. And our wheels are number 23 in the D-Spec category. Up next here, guys, we have paint. Now, if I go into the setting for the whole car, it's actually going to change the color on me. So what I'm going to do is color match the front bumper for you guys so you can see how I made the color. So for this color, you can leave the hue exactly where it's at. Stock. Saturation is going to come down just a little bit, and brightness is going to come down to about 30%. All of our body parts are painted this color, guys, so nothing to change there. Our glass is tinted out just a little bit, though. We have it down around 30% here as well. Our headlights are smoke too, down around 30%. Taillights we left with no tint because it doesn't tint the middle. I'll show you guys that now. Kind of ugly. Our rim color is going to be basically like a metallic white, saturation all the way down, brightness almost all the way up. And then our spoke color also has saturation all the way down, but brightness is somewhere around 15-20%. We actually haven't painted our suspension or our calipers here, although I think black calipers would look pretty nice on this thing, and maybe some black springs here as well while we're at it. We'll add those for sure and head over to styling. So for styling, guys, we got the CarX wheel, no handbrake, no shifter. Our driver's seat is R-Corp, but our left seat is just stock. We actually didn't change the brake rotors, although I'm loving the car at this point, so maybe we will throw some drilled and slotted on there just for looks. No neons on the front, sides, or rear. Backfire effect is going to be the Shinobi Works, and nitro effect honestly should probably be Shinobi too, but I'm trying to save my speed coins. Front lights we left white, and smoke we didn't change at all. So that's going to do it for the styling section. Let's head over to the tuning shop for upgrades and tuning. All right, guys, heading into upgrade and tuning next here, we have our engine to start. We are running that stock SR20 for 370 horsepower. We have all racing parts here in the whole engine, and the reason for that is that racing parts are the highest performing parts you can put on an engine without having to spend speed coins, and I personally want to save those speed coins for front angle kits, but we'll get there when we get to suspension. So our ECU is going to be racing, turbo is racing as well, camshafts, intake, fuel system, cylinder head, engine block, exhaust manifold, and exhaust, all racing parts. Now heading on into the engine tune, we did max out every value that was available to us just to squeeze as much power as we could out of that stock SR20, and I think 370 horsepower is just about perfect for this build. Heading over to transmission next here, guys, we do have all ultimate parts which you can buy with credits, which is really nice. We got the clutch, the diff, and the gearbox, and we left that rear wheel drive drivetrain. Now the transmission tune is going to be a really important aspect to a drift build. We have our gear shifting speed all the way down thanks to our ultimate clutch. For the gearbox, final drive is going to be at 4.39, first gear at 2.52, second gear at 2.05, third gear at 1.52, fourth gear at 1.32, and fifth gear at 1.11. We did leave the reverse gear, no real reason to change that, but transmission losses we brought all the way down to 3 because if you go any further, you have to spend speed coins here as well. Let me move the camera here so you guys can see my diff settings. You guys will see we have acceleration lock at 1.6, coast lock at 0.55, and preload at 7.4. This is actually straight off my base tune from CarX Drift Racing, and I loved it right off the bat. Heading over to body next, guys, we have stock weight, no weight reduction or anything like that, stock fuel tank, and no aero front or rear on this one. After that, we have suspension, which is the most important part of any drift build, and we do have all ultimate parts except for the brakes, but we'll get there in tuning. Now, we do have those ultimate front suspension arms. I think this is the most important part in any drift build, whether you're 370 or 670 horsepower, because not only does it allow you maximum tunability for your alignment, but it also gives you maximum steering angle as well. We have those ultimate front stabilizers here too, guys, racing brakes, ultimate rear stabilizer, ultimate rear suspension arms, ultimate front springs, ultimate front dampers, ultimate rear dampers, and ultimate rear springs as well. Now heading on into the suspension values here, guys, feel free to copy these values down. I feel like the car is super dialed. I'm super happy with it so far. We have our spring lengths at 53, stiffness at 74, stabilizers are going to be all the way down just like CarX Drift Racing. Camber in the front, we actually left our stock value of -5.5. Caster though is at 10.2, Ackerman at 85. You guys can lower this if you're spinning out too easy, and you can raise it if you need a little bit more responsiveness, but I found 85 to kind of be that sweet spot for me. Steering angle maxed out, of course. Wheel toe though is going to be positive 0.18 in the front. I know usually there's a little bit of negative toe on a drift car, but on CarX Drift Racing this seems to really work for me, and it works really good here on CarX Street as well. And our dampers, we actually left all the stock values. I didn't need to change the dampers at all. I felt like length and stiffness did everything that I needed for the suspension tuning. Now for our brakes, we did end up with the racing brakes, and I kind of went back and forth for a little bit about stock versus racing. My thought was maybe the stock brakes would provide a little bit lower of a braking force because it is a little bit tougher in this game to left foot brake with your braking force all the way down than it was in CarX Drift Racing. I did find, however, that the more important value was front brake balance, and you can't tune that unless you go up to the racing brakes. Having that front brake balance up at 61 allows you to get on those left foot brakes a lot easier, and if you do upgrade the brakes further, you do have more tunability in your brake balance, but I feel like they get a little bit more bite and it's super not worth it. I think these racing brakes with the force all the way way down and the balance all the way up is the perfect balance for this car. We'll move our camera here again so you guys can see the rear values. We got our lengths at 71, stiffness at 71 as well. Stabilizer all the way down here too. Camber is going to be negative 1.5. We got negative 0.09 for tow, and we did leave the rear damper stock as well. Now for wheels, we did end up with ultimate spacers front and rear here just to fine tune our alignment as best we can. And for wheels, we're running 235 30/20s. Initially, I thought this was too much tire for 370 horsepower, but after driving the car a bit and fine tuning the gearing, I think it's absolutely dialed. For tires, we're running stretch +5 front and rear, and then we'll head into our tuning values as well. Pressure is going to be all the way up just to simulate that 90 adhesion feeling a little bit more from CarX Drift Racing. Our offset is going to be 10 in the front and 7 in the rear. That's going to do it for the entire tune and upgrade setup here, guys. Let's hop into some driving clips and talk a little bit about the car. All right, guys, so here we are, some tandem clips. Now, I think the biggest difference between CarX Drift Racing and CarX Street is that CarX Street, you have a little bit more grip on these cars, so it is a little bit of a different driving style if you are coming straight out of CarX Drift Racing. Some things do remain true from CarX Drift Racing, like you want to roll your sticks and not be too aggressive with any of your inputs, and as you guys can see, it's definitely possible to get some absolutely sick tandems here on CarX Street. Now, this car is definitely gears short. I'm not going to deny that. That's always been my style, even on CarX Drift Racing and Forza Horizon 5 as well. I just personally enjoy having multiple gears available for different situations, and I feel like with that higher grip level, it's really nice to be able to downshift and have immediate power, but also not feel like you're going to bog out every gear you're in when you do need to slow down. That's why I went with the shorter gearing, and personally with the 370 horsepower, I find it pretty hard to max out 5th gear in any drift situation, although it is a little bit short on the highway. Now, you guys might have caught on to the fact that this is a dupe of my CarX Drift Racing S14, minus the ProFlow wing. I had to throw it on there because it just looked so good. But other than that, it's pretty much a one-to-one, and it's so cool to have this car in this game here, and I can't wait to drive it more with you guys. So if you guys made it this far in the video, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you guys a ton. If you did enjoy the video or found it useful at all, please feel free to leave a like down below and subscribe for more content just like this. And if you guys do end up trying the S14 out, definitely let me know what you think in the comments down below. Once again, guys, if you made it this far in the video, I appreciate you guys watching a ton, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Peace.